Indeed. Welcome to the Liberal Buzz Show. And this is all about city. See those vintage pictures of City Hall. Where City Hall, San Francisco, is having a mayoral election this year. And it's going to last from June until June 2019. And I went to the Tenderloin Mayoral Forum. I attended, took videos for our show. So for another show, the Axis of Love show, which airs and premieres on Friday at 6 p.m. Channel 29. So check it out. There were no audience questions allowed. It was kind of a drag. That was a drag, but otherwise it was pretty cool. And so Amy won me over. Amy Farah Weiss. And I mean, for my first choice. So she really had a lot of compassionate ideas where the other candidates just wanted to call the police all the time. That's all they wanted to do. This is the video I took here. That's part one. And so I also attended her cannabis forum. She had another cannabis forum where I took videos of that. So here's a little of her there. She might call in today. Well, you get the idea. She's not like the other candidates at all. She's really not. You don't hear them talking about handing out cannabis to people in tent encampments. Now, we know that, with Prop 64, kind of screwed us. So we're having to, San Francisco's having to pick up the ball, and get our game together so that the white boys don't reign supreme here. The white supremacist holes, or whatever you want to call them. The ones that want to just monopolize and put the rest of us in jail while they grow unlimited numbers of plants. And, because Prop 64 fake cannabis legalization really hurt the farmers that were giving cannabis away. So it shut down a free and affordable cannabis source to low-income folks. And it was designed to enrich the police, also with the taxes. So when you buy that fake recreational, or even if you're getting it free, it's from a dispensary, they had to pay a tax on that free cannabis. So that's shocking. Now, I was impressed by when I went to the mayoral forum by Amy, the lady I just showed. She just did a little intro of her work in the compassionate care community. So she had a lot to say about support for unhoused people as well. So it was about inviting them in the community, not trying to push them out. I shouldn't say those people. I mean, not trying to push people out of the community. They're trying to include. It's more inclusive. Get folks involved. Like for instance, London Breed, she made it very clear that she wants more police. So, and maybe the rest of them too, but especially London. It's on. Watch the show tomorrow and Friday after that, and the Friday after that. It's all mayoral forum on the Axis of Love show, Channel 29. So the other candidates, they want to use $34 million to hire 200 more law enforcement officers, SFPD officers, for $34 million. And Amy Farah Weiss is asking London Breed at a forum on 420 tomorrow in Chinatown. You can Google it, see if you could go. Check it out. she's asking London Breed in that forum if she would consider investing the $34 million into a site-specific plan. And it invests $300,000 in each block, probably of the Tenderloin, and one in each of the outer neighborhoods. So instead of the $34 million going to the SFPD officers. So Breed's plan to end homelessness looks good on paper. But the thing is, if you disperse the people and if they're spread out more, then it won't seem like there's any homeless around if you can't see them, right? If all in one area. So I was really impressed, you know. Amy Farah Weiss is, she emphasizes, let me see. Amy Farah Weiss emphasized, this is going to be it here, so check that. You can check that out on my Twitter feed too, this Mayoral forum here. So the cannabis, where was I? Okay, yeah. She wants to invest $300,000. That's the highest number with, and she's going to decide where this money should go. Now she might not get elected, right? She may not, but her ideas are out there, and we can keep them alive. So she wants to invest the money in the areas with the highest number of 311 and 911 emergency quality of life type of calls, and or complaints for public safety, and rather than investing that $34 million into new SFPD officers. So Breed's plan was to end homelessness. It does look good on paper, but it doesn't. She didn't talk about including folks in anything. If you can tell me where any of the other candidates are actually including people. It seemed like Mark Leno wants to house folks. That's good. It's a very ambitious plan. I hope if he gets elected, I hope he can, he can actually deliver on that. So, but Amy, she actually goes to tent encampments and hands out free cannabis, and that speaks to my heart since the Liberal Buzz Show is for the axis of love, free cannabis, compassionate community, and we have some irrevocable values about sharing cannabis. I think cannabis should be street trees, but that's just me. So that would make me very popular everywhere, but maybe people like the idea, they just don't know it yet. So Amy pledges to deliver on the following initiatives. These are her initiatives to support the equitable access, because let's face it, Prop 64 made the cannabis way too expensive. It's so expensive. No, who can afford it? So I'm not buying any. So the equitable access and the mindful consumption she was talking about, the continued deprioritization of cannabis use infractions by the SFPD. Now, that means that cannabis would be the lowest priority, like Axis of Love and our lowest priority cannabis enforcement committee we started in 2007, which was stonewalled by people with money. Yeah, they just would get in there and filibuster, and that's how they blocked us. But we did manage to. They couldn't block the lowest priority. I'm sure we were all on the same page with that one. But everything else, So that's one thing we got. Now, the cannabis commission. I guess it's the task force we have now at City Hall. They're being paid to do the things we used to do for free, and using and copying our legislation that they're like trying to act like they thought of it, and I've got it on video, So anyway, bring it, bitches. So yeah, I'm gonna go to their meeting and stare them down every time. It's fun. I mean, they have blocked us. I'm nice to them, and they're not. We're, you know, we don't have. We're not punching each other out, but it's you know, rich against poor, really, and people that, you know, just have an interest in themselves, I suppose, self-interest folks. And there's now Amy wants to develop new cannabis consumption permits for events and establishments at state and local levels. And that means an emphasis on safe and mindful consumption. And she wants to eliminate local taxes for donations of medicinal cannabis to low-income patients. So that means that, because low-income patients, you don't, and even low-income people, we take it a step further. This is where I'm taking it, you know, Axis of Love and Shona, we're all taking it a step further by, and even the Cannabis Commission agreed that people, you don't have to be a patient, you just be poor, you just have to not be able to afford Prop 64 weed, which is practically everyone. So, who wants to pay $500 for an ounce? And with a lot of the tax money going to law enforcement, that's just not happening. So to eliminate the local taxes for the donations of medicinal cannabis to low-income patients, this is through the dispensaries now we're talking about. The dispensaries that choose to give away cannabis to low-income patients. And she's got a lot of good ideas here. Funding of affordable access and or compassion programs for low-income and veterans and seniors and patients as well. So now we've been trying to do that for years too, at least to get a space. You know, the last time Axis of Love we had a space for people to come and smoke cannabis, say they can't smoke in their building, so they could come to our space over on Mission and 9th. But that, of course, once again, the monopolist Spark shut us down. That's why I don't go to Spark, please. They're mean. That guy Eric, I think he might have burned. Shona told me that Eric might have burned down those plants. He was on channel KPIX. If you saw Spark, the owner of Spark, Eric Pearson, was on KPIX saying, "Oh, all the people around me got burned except me, and I took care of their dogs and cats." And I thought, "Oh, that's nice." But then I told Shona, and Shona says, "Well, that's Shona Gokenauer. She's a frequent guest," and she said, "Well, that's just because Eric probably burned them out, you know, to get rid of the competition." Well, he also, Eric threatened to, and carried through this threat to shut down the Hope Net dispensary, because they used to give me a quarter ounce a week, and he shut them down. He said that he was going to, and he followed through. He did it through the permit process. He did it through having a school move in after it. It's like a move to nuisance. It's like they were trying to shut him down by moving a school in after the dispensary was already there. So, you know, that's about as dodgy as that's Donald Trump dodgy. You know, that's just, this guy is like the Donald Trump of the cannabis community. That's Spark. So just don't forget Spark. They're not persona non grata. So we need to fund affordable access and compassion programs, and I take this a step further. We need to fund. We need land. Instead of building all these high rises, let's have a few acres for free cannabis for people who can't afford it. What's the danger of that? Come on now. And also the micro business permits within nonprofit license classification at state and local level. So the micro business, because right as it is now, nobody can really afford it. You know, you have to be a trust fund baby to get in the market. So I mean, 63,000 farms, out of them, maybe 1% of them got permits, and the rest of them are either shutting down, leaving the state. It's sad. It's really sad. We got to fight this. So Amy has some good ideas. It's some hope until we can get a real legalization initiative with no jail time. Right now we really don't have that. So the micro-business permits within the nonprofit license classification at state and local level. You know, that would be great, you know, especially at the state level, you know, and because then that would be a uniform policy. Right now, only 80% of California doesn't even have recreational cannabis, and a lot of them don't even have any medicinal either. So we'll see. And they want to educate the component of the city's cannabis office, an education component, which would be great. Because as it is now, we've just got a lot. You know, we didn't even know about a meeting until we had to hear it through the grapevine that they were having this meeting at City Hall that represents all of us, and they're not supposed to have meeting behind closed doors or not announce their meetings. So that's dodgy too, more dodgy. Just So support for the development of a San Francisco-based cannabis testing facility to create economic opportunities, streamline testing requirements for local growers and distributors. You know, that's job creators right there. So, you know, tweet me, send me a tweet if you have any ideas about these things. Send me your ideas, comments, or whatever. Let me know how you feel about any of this. So it streamlines the testing requirements for local growers and distributors, and it provides a funding source for the education for compassionate programming as well. Compassionate programming is, it's not many people know even I didn't know what it was. I thought, oh well, I felt okay. I was always broke and buying too much weed, and thought, well, there's a better way, but so there are better ways. You don't have to spend all your money on this stuff. Just, I haven't even, have you been to a dispensary? I haven't been to a dispensary since last year. So now Amy Farah there, she's on Facebook, and you can go to her debate in Chinatown. She holds up in debates, and whether you vote for her or not, I'm not endorsing her or not endorsing her. I'm just saying that her ideas really caught my eye, and I'm glad that that Axis of Love we aren't the only ones who've thought of these things. So some of the questions I have are, one more point. Amy pledged $1 million in a health subsidy for medicinal cannabis access. So she wants to invest this $1 million for medicinal cannabis access for a health subsidy. So I wish her all the luck in that. And I also want to preserve the 230. This is what I want to do. This is my wish list at the very end. So I want to preserve the 235 plant low-income collective gardens, and I want to support the ban. I don't want to support the ban on new dispensaries in Chinatown like the rest of mayor candidates. So why don't you pressure them? You need to pressure these candidates to not support the ban, because as it is now, first it was Jane Kim caving in, and now it's the Sandra Feuer. This is what I've heard from Shona. So Gokenauer, she's the educational director of Axis of Love, and she told me that Amy is one of the few mayoral candidates that don't support the ban of new dispensaries in Chinatown. It's Jim Crow. I mean, there's folks in Chinatown that their culture is okay with cannabis dispensaries. So it's just money, and they bus people in from Sacramento to City Hall and pressure them and make it look like they're not, you know, there's like going to be tens of thousands of people not voting for them if they approve a dispensary. So it gets ugly. So it's really a challenge to get our civil rights. So we've got to appear in City Hall. Tomorrow's 4/20, by the way. And we got to go to City Hall in the next week, Tuesday, to go to the Board of Supervisors meeting to urge them not to support this ban in Chinatown. And so it'll be up on my Twitter and on Facebook. Check out Denise Dorey on my Facebook feed. And also, in closing, Iliu, the lady who, Kilu, The lady who had a show before me, we miss her very much. I miss seeing her before I set up my show and having little conversations with her. I wish I'd gotten to know her better. She was a lovely lady, and she will be missed. And be sure and watch Psychic Frank's show. May 3rd is, well, he's got another time slot next week at 5 p.m. And I thank you for watching. Also, please adopt a shelter pet. I'm so glad I've adopted my shelter pet. It's the best thing I ever did, really. It's just, my cat makes me happy every day. We adopted him off the youth list, you know. So, take care.